there, welcome to Technability. I am Berge. Thank you guys for watching. We are your source for no-nonsense tech, so continue watching and supporting us. Alright, we have a great comparison here for you guys. We got the HTC One, which was Technability's 2013 Phone of the Year. If you haven't already seen that video, go ahead and subscribe. Check it out on the channel. Against the LG/Google Nexus 5. Two different philosophies, two completely different phones, both running Android but their own respective versions. So this is a comparison that I think you guys are going to like. It's a truly in-depth, so bear with me. It's going to be quite long, but we are basically covering as much content as we can so that you guys, the techies and non-techies alike, can make up your mind about which one you personally think is better than the other. Alright, thank you guys for watching Technability, and stay tuned for the HTC One versus Nexus 5. Hey there, welcome to Technability. I am Berge. We are your source for no-nonsense tech. Check out technability.com, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for watching and continuing to support us. We got some great content coming up on the channel, including an original, yes, an original web series that has not been done yet in relation to mobile tech. So keep watching. We got some great stuff coming up very soon, guys. Some great production with a company called Technatic. That's Technatic, and we're going to be doing some videos with them as well, some content with them, so look out for that as well. Now let's get straight to the point here. We have the HTC One on the left hand side, and we have the LG/Google Nexus 5 on the right. Alright, now both of these phones are two of my favorite phones of late 2013 and currently. Okay, I of course named the HTC One the 2013 Technability Phone of the Year. If you guys haven't seen that video already, check it out, it's on the channel. We got a lot of flack for that. A lot of people were like, really, the HTC One? Yes, the HTC One was my 2013 Phone of the Year. And I have my variety of reasons for that, and one of them is definitely not its hardware, because of course, there were phones in the market that had better hardware currently and last year in terms of Snapdragon 800 processors, more RAM, etc. But I'm just a big fan of the HTC One. Again, if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch it. Give us your opinion. Let us know how you feel. Otherwise, let's get straight to the point here with these two beasts. We have the HTC One here, we have the Nexus 5 here. Now just going ahead and putting these phones together, you can see them, you can see the size difference. Now the HTC One is a fairly thin phone, but it's not the thinnest phone. You can see it kind of protrudes out when it gets to the middle, so it's thin on the sides, then it gets a little thicker when it gets to the middle. The Nexus also is 8.5 millimeters, so it's a fairly thin device as well. So they're both fairly thin. In any case, you know, you're dealing with two fairly thin phones. Both have solid builds. One has a matte finish. The HTC One obviously has a metal finish, unibody, both unibody in the sense that you can't remove the battery, you can't add an SD card, so they are different in that regard. However, both are solid builds. Let's go ahead and just look at the back. You can see matte finish, black comes in white as well. Here you have the HTC One, also comes in blue and a black, but you can see the metal finish here. Big fan of the metal finish on the HTC One. I think it's something that was lacking with Android in terms of having a phone that has that high quality build, and HTC went ahead and stepped up their game and released the HTC One. Now, of course, you can also see the front facing speakers here on the HTC One, the dual boom sound speakers. Fantastic quality, big fan of the dual boom sound speakers. And getting back to the HTC One here, you can see you got the charging port down below. You have the volume rockers. You have nothing over here except the SIM card tray. You have the power button, which is also an IR blaster, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, front facing camera, proximity sensors, as well as the rear you have the 4 ultra pixel camera, which has received a ton of flack from consumers, pundits alike. I'll get to that when we get to the camera features here on both devices, because this is a truly in-depth comparison, so bear with me, guys. This is going to be a long comparison, but it's one that I want to make sure basically drives home with the consumers, and not just consumers, both techies and the average consumer who's looking for a phone, who's in the market and has both of these guys in mind. Right, you can see the antennas down below, up top, right, HTC logo, Verizon 4G, etc., Beats Audio and all that good stuff. HTC is no longer with Beats Audio in terms of the partnership, but the one still comes with it. Nexus, you can see again, matte finish, Nexus logo, LG logo, 8 megapixel camera, flash. You have the you have the power button with the SIM card tray. Down below you have the speaker, the microphone, as well as the charging port. Over here you have the volume rockers, which they've released two different Nexuses in terms of the version that you're buying at the Google Play Store. The new one comes with bigger, I believe it's bigger holes here for the speaker. It also comes with a slightly modified volume rocker, and up top you see it's just the 3.5mm headphone jack, front-facing camera, proximity sensor, and all that good stuff as well. Now, there's a difference with the screens on these guys. Now, they're both 1080p, and they're both LCD, but the difference is that over here with the 4.95 inch or 4.99 inch Nexus, you have the navigation keys right below on the screen. So it actually takes up a portion of that 1080p display, which, mind you, renders 445 pixels per inch. Whereas on the HTC One, you do have a 4.7 inch LCD 1080p display. You have the home key here, HTC logo right here in the back button. Now, again, this was something that a lot of people were confused about at first, why HTC would put the home button here on the right, but it's something that really you get used to as you use the phone. Okay, you also do have the ability to adjust or to customize the home button here, whereas you could swipe up and access Google Now. And if you have custom ROMs, you can also customize this HTC logo. What it does is it just kind of creates a little thing right above it so that you can actually utilize the HTC logo for certain things. So custom ROMs will allow you to mess with this down here. Otherwise, you also have the back button. All right, you have the home button, which if you long press, you get Google Now. You can double tap and you get multitasking. Over here, you have the multitasking key, the home button, and the back key. So different fundamentally, but still it's Android. One has a Sense. You're running Sense 5 on this. And on this you're running KitKat 4.4.2. So you got the 1080p display here, 468 pixels per inch, which is industry tops in terms of the US market. It's a gorgeous display, absolutely gorgeous viewing angles, and you can see the viewing angles on the Nexus are very nice as well. Now the difference is that you can see it kind of washes out when you put the Nexus in certain angles, so the screen does get washed out, whereas the HTC One you will not be dealing with any washed out display. Now both have very little bezel, but of course the difference being in that the Nexus doesn't have the boom sound speakers on the front. This does, so you have a little bit bigger bezel up top and on the bottom. Plus you have this space right here for the keys. Again, with the Nexus, you just have this empty space right here, empty space up here, and then the navigation keys right below. And there are custom ROMs, again, for the Nexus as well, KitKat ROMs that disable these buttons so you can have the full screen if you're into development and all that good stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here with both device software. Of course, now on the HTC One, this specific HTC One for Verizon is running 4.2.2 with Sense 5, okay? Now, again, if you've watched my channel, if you're a fan of Technability, you'll see that we have 4.3 with Sense 5.5 custom ROMs available for the HTC One. We have some great reviews on Android Revolution HD running Sense 5.5 on the HTC One with a flurry of new features such as the ability to disable and remove blink feed altogether, the ability to put custom feeds into blink feed, and all sorts of cool new features. You could check that out on the channel. Also, if you're interested in flashing it, we have a how-to on technability.com. Now with the Nexus, you have stock Android 4.4.2. None of these have custom ROMs on it. Both of these are pure stock. Okay, so you got stock Sense 5 with 4.2.2 Jelly Bean here. You have stock KitKat 4.4.2 on the Nexus here. So looking at both screens of both devices, just going through speed, you can see both are very fast. Both respond immediately to my touch. You can see 2 fingers brings down the quick settings panel on both devices. Or you can see one obviously brings down the notification bar, and the quick settings panel is not customizable here. The quick settings panel, if you have custom ROMs on the Nexus at least, if you have custom ROMs, is customizable. You can also add toggles with various custom ROMs, toggles on the notification bar if you'd like. Alright, so Sense is a bit more customizable than stock Android or stock KitKat here on the Nexus. So definitely, you know, given that it's an overlay, HTC's overlay, of course there are going to be more customizations. Okay, now again, going back to the speed, you can see both are blazing fast in terms of their operation. I mean, it's very responsive. You can see it just kind of does what it wants to do on its own, but very responsive, immediate to my touch. Let's go ahead and just turn the brightness down a little bit here. And that's one thing that I definitely, and Technability definitely appreciates about Android and their progression and where they've come since the inception of Android. And you can remember all the way back to the G1 when we were running on 1.5 or 1.6. And then, of course, even going back to Gingerbread, it was obviously had its issues, but now when ICS came out, they kind of upped their game, and then Jelly Bean, and then 4.3 with the OpenGL and the triple buffering and all that good stuff. Now it's a blazing fast system. I think it's just as fast as any other mobile operating system on the market, and that also depends on how you optimize it, and that's another video that we have on the channel that you guys can check out. Okay, so going ahead and looking at the lock screens here on both. So I get confused about where the power button is here. Okay, you can see the lock screen here on KitKat is just stock KitKat lock screen, access to the notifications, to the quick settings, to the camera as well, lock screen widgets, Google Now, and then you have the ability to just unlock here. Okay, over here with Sense, with the HTC One, you can see you could just slide up to unlock. You can also set a pin and all that good stuff. You can do that here with KitKat as well. Access to the notification bar, to the quick settings panel. And you have shortcuts right here as well. Okay, you can customize those shortcuts. And then lock screen widgets are available on the 4.3 update, and then you just swipe up to unlock it. So if you're looking for the lock screen widgets, that is available with the 4.3 Sense 5.5 update. All right, now looking at both home screens again, you can see how this works. You could just drag an icon into another icon to create a folder. Very simple concept, right? And that's basically, you know, something that Android has perfected, in my opinion, is creating these folders. You can see the folders here on HTC One are a bit more, they look a bit more like folders, whereas here on the Nexus, you got that round folder right there, and you can just put as many icons as you like in there, and you can see how that works. Right over here as well, you got the folder, you can name it and whatnot. So if you long press on the home screen, you basically get your Add Panel tab right up here, so you can add a screen, you can adjust and remove screens, move them any direction in which you want. You can't remove blink feed with 4.2.2 Sense 5, but rest assured that with the 4.3 Sense 5.5 update, you can remove blink feed. And you have all your flurry of widgets, which HTC definitely gives you a lot of widgets. And Verizon does as well. Of course, Verizon is going to put their bloatware on it, one thing that we're not big fans of. But if you root this device, you can get rid of the bloatware. You can see how the widgets work. Simply put it in there, current location. There's my clock. Okay, if I long press on it, nothing, I can move it around and whatnot. And here with the KitKat as well, it's the same. If you long press, you can see how this works here on the Nexus. You got wallpapers, widgets, settings. So if we go to widgets, you can see all the flurry of Google widgets. So these are the stock Google widgets. And let's say you want to create a new screen. Basically all you got to do is take the widget, drag it over again, you've created a new screen. Or you can also just take an icon and drag it to the next screen, and that will in turn create a new screen for you. Right? And you can also remove that screen and move it around to any panel that you want by just long pressing, and then just long pressing on the screen, moving it around. Okay? So very simple, very easy system. And you can see their wallpapers, both respective wallpapers. If we were to go to settings here, okay, and you were to go to display gesture, oh, excuse me, it's under personalize. You can see under wallpaper here, you have the variety of different HTC wallpapers that come with the device. Okay, you can see how these look right here. You got very high quality wallpapers, definitely for this display, 1080p, rendering 468 pixels per inch. I mean, you got a quad-core Snapdragon 600 processor in this thing at 1.7 gigahertz with 2 gigs of RAM. Over here you have a 2.3 gigahertz Snapdragon 800 processor with 2 gigs of RAM. Adreno 330 GPU, Adreno 320 GPU. Now it's not that big of a difference, but there is a difference. And in terms of benchmarks, I'm not going to run them here, but I will tell you that the HTC One actually benchmarks higher than the Nexus. I got about 8,500 on the Nexus, about 12,500 on the One. So it could be an issue with optimization and optimization with quadrant and whatnot. And Tutu's the same. I got about a 28,000 on the One, about a 25,000 on the Nexus, even though the hardware on the Nexus is technically superior. So it's something that regular average consumers aren't going to notice. If you're a big stickler when it comes to the latest and greatest in terms of hardware, then the Nexus might be the better fit for you. But otherwise, I really don't think it's that big of a difference, realistically speaking. Okay, let's go ahead and run some speed tests here, but before we do that, let's look at the multitasking on both. Okay, so if you double tap on the home button, you get the multitasking panel here. Now again, with the update, these icons are slightly bigger, so you can see you just swipe them away. Now if you were to swipe downwards, you gotta wait till they kind of rearrange themselves. Just swipe from left to right, it's quicker. Okay, and over here it's the same, you can just swipe them away, swipe them to the right, swipe them to the left. Again, with CM11, you do have that button, or with all CM builds, you have the button to just close out all. But now I've closed out all my apps, so let's go ahead and run a few speed tests here. All right, we got Verizon's 4G network and T-Mobile's LTE network here, both running on LTE, of course. Let's go ahead and run Play Store, open Play Store. Okay, that was about equal. Let's go home on both. Okay, let's go ahead and open YouTube. This is the old YouTube app, but nonetheless. All right. Let's look at video quality here, or actually we'll go back to video quality in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and open the browsers. We got Chrome and then we got WebKit. go ahead and run Technability here. Actually, we'll just click here. Okay, both running Technability on their respective networks. Verizon LTE, T-Mobile LTE. You can pinch zoom while it's loading. Okay. Oh, I don't know auto brightness. Pinch zoom super fast. Both are on equal brightness. It's 50, I believe 60% here, 60% here. So they're both on equal brightness, just to give you guys, so you don't think that the HTC One is darker. I know it looks darker on video, but okay, so you can see scrolling, pinch zoom, panning around the screen while pinch zooming, panning around the screen while pinch zooming. You can see their respective tabs. Right, you can add a new tab, you can add incognito tab here. You got Chrome, obviously, which has its tab system. If we were to go back to the tabs, you can see you can X out of a tab, you can add an incognito tab, and over here it's the same, you can add a new tab. Let's go back to Technability here and click on a link. Okay. Okay. You can see you have reader mode right here, which I'm a big fan of HTC One's reader mode. You can pinch in, pinch out, long press to highlight a word, to find the word, do a web search on it, etc. Right over here with the with Chrome, you can see how that works. Okay, you can see the various different options that you have over here as well at the home screen, request desktop side, etc. So both are great systems. Of course, you can long press here as well, and just kind of pan around there. And you can just close out of these tabs by swiping them away. With the HTC One, you can get out of article or reader mode or article mode, however you want to call it. X out and just go home. Go home. Okay, let's go ahead and open the. Let's go ahead and open a few apps here and see which one opens them faster. Actually, you know what? I don't know. There we go. All right, let's see which one opens apps quicker. Let's do Facebook first. Okay, so there's no account logged in there, but let's see how that works. Let's go ahead and close out of all the apps. Let's go ahead and open gallery on both. Okay. See how quick that was. Let's go ahead and open messages. One has messages, one has hangouts. You can add a message, say perfecto. Add a message. Alright, you can see their respective keyboards. Of course, you have stock KitKat keyboard here. Hey, how are you? How 8. Okay, here. They're both good keyboards. I like the fact that the KitKat keyboard has a little bit of separation between the keys, but both are good keyboards. They both have voice command, obviously. Over here with Hangouts, you have the ability to gesture back. Over here with HTC, you don't, but you do have a flurry of other features. You can obviously add various different attachments. You can do that here with the Nexus as well. They're both obviously Android, so they still have that system. Now you can, of course, download Hangouts from the Play Store if you want to utilize that. Hangouts is basically like Android's version of iMessage. All right, let's go ahead and open the dialer on both. You can see both dialers, stock, sense, green, blue. Of course, they have different. If we were to call, see how the screens look on both. Send call, go home. Okay, let's go ahead and do some, well, actually, before we do Google Now tests, let's go ahead and open a few more apps. Let's do Maps here. Let's see how Maps looks. And you can see how the notification, how the app drawers are for both as well. You have the ability to customize it via alphabetically, custom, or most recent. You also have grid size options, so you can see that. You can hide apps as well and manage various apps. Over here with KitKat, it's very simplistic in the sense that this is really what you get. All right, so let's go ahead and open Maps. Okay, see pinch zoom on Maps. Go home. Both are Google Maps, so really no difference there. All right, let's go ahead and open Gmail. You see Gmail right there. Let's go home. Okay, ES File Explorer. It's a third-party app. I mean, the HTC One is no slouch. You can see in terms of speed, and this is on an overlay, right? I mean, it's definitely no slouch. Now you can see the calendars here, stock Android and Sense calendar. Sense is a little bit more obviously graphically intensive, but nonetheless, it's still a a solid minimalist calendar in terms of HTC Sense's calendar. Okay, now before we go into the camera, let's look at video quality on both. So we'll go back to YouTube here. Technability. Thank you guys for continuing to support Technability. We do truly appreciate that. Again, we are your source for no-nonsense tech. Continue to watch us and subscribe to the channel. Hey there, welcome to Technability. I am Berge. We are your source for no-nonsense tech, so don't forget to check out www.technability.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Keep watching us. We have some great content coming up, as well as a very original and very awesome web series that is in the works right now. It's in. Okay, so HTC One here. Transition, working with a company called Technatic. The volume's clearer. So you're going to see me doing some videos for Technatic. So again, look out for that as well. We got some great projects, great things coming up very soon, guys. So keep watching, and thank you for continuing to support us. All right, let's get straight to the point here. That is our slogan, no nonsense, straight to the point tech. We have an iPhone 5, and it's running iOS 7 Beta 4. You just swipe up and you get Google Now. Swipe up and you get Google Now. How old is Steve Austin? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Who sings Beat It? Beat It recorded by. Okay, so you can see Google Now on both. Now we're going to go ahead and look at both cameras. Okay, so you have the full 4 Ultra pixel here on the HTC One. And you have the 8 megapixel on the Nexus. You can see both cameras here in their respective forms. Rear cameras. Here with the HTC One you have First Shot, which is one of my favorite features. Here with the Nexus, it's a lot more simplistic, just basically tap and shoot. And you can see you got Best Shot, Delete, so you can just go ahead and delete, and you can delete whichever one you want. You can click Best Shot, it'll choose Best Shot for you. Or you have a flurry of different options here on the HTC One as well. You have the ability, you can just push the 3 button right there, front facing, rear camera, of course you have the front facing camera. Over here you have the long press, which gets a little bit cumbersome at times because it doesn't register your touch, but there's the long press on the camera, front facing camera. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to the rear. Yeah, you know, what they should both do is put like a navigation bar up top or a toggle or something to allow you to switch cameras or whatnot. And you have Zoe mode as well. Zoe, which is a really cool feature, it takes still images and photos and turns it into like a nice little montage. So you have Zoe. In terms of just camera quality, you could see if I was to zoom in here on the one, camera quality tends to get a little distorted when you crop into 100% because it's only 4 megapixel, but it's still a solid camera nonetheless. You have slow motion mode, you have, or at least on the 5.5 update you do, I'm not sure if you do here, but you have cool shooting modes, you have various different filters, you can see right here, various different filters and modes and whatnot. Whereas with stock Android, you get the simple panorama, photosphere camera and video camera, so not many features on the one, but, not many features on the Nexus. The one does kind of pride itself on its camera features and its software, which is really what makes it what it is. And that's what they tell you, is that really it's all in the software. And that's something that I definitely agree with. I think HTC software in terms of their camera is definitely solid. Now you can see going back to the camera here, or you can click on a photo, whatever photo it is that you took. Over here you can just swipe over, and if you pinch in, taking photos on its own. You can see right here, you got pinch zoom, of course, pinch zoom, the ability to edit the photo. You have highlight, share, delete, edit. Again, this goes back to whether or not you want to access Zoe as well. Frames, effects, transform, etc. Right here you have editing options as well. All right, you can edit, obviously third-party apps sync in here as well. So let's do photo editor. You have various different editing apps here as well. If you go back, you could share it as you so please, set it as wallpaper. All right, if you click right here, if you click right here on share, you can just say no thanks to that. And third-party apps do sync in here as well, so that's really cool. If you have third-party photo editing apps or whatnot, they sync into the photo photo editing and photo sharing features here in the gallery. And now going back to the galleries, you can see their respective galleries and how they differ. Let's go ahead and look at gallery here. Okay, you can see you can set it by events, by albums, by location. Kind of the same concept here with the Nexus. So really they're similar systems. Again, going back to the pinch zoom and all that good stuff. All right, let's go home. Okay. See how notifications work? You can swipe them away. Nothing different on the notification end. Nothing also different on the quick settings panel end as well, which we've already discussed. Okay, let's look at a few other third-party apps here and see how we can compare third-party apps. All right, let's go ahead and run Bejeweled Blitz on both and open them at the same time. See, they look absolutely gorgeous on both devices. Tough to play this twice. Okay, see Bejeweled Blitz, and again if you want to multitask, double tap, just push the multitasking key, close out, go home, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Alright, let's go ahead and look at some other third-party apps here, such as the calculator. Let's show you guys what the calculators look like on both respective devices. Okay, both minimal simplistic calculators, right, of course. Alright, let's go ahead and run benchmark, a quadrant benchmark, okay. In terms of Antutu, again, going back to Antutu, you get about 25,000 on the Nexus. Again, depending on what kind of software and optimization you have. On the one, you get about 28,000, even though it's, again, the Nexus has superior hardware. Okay, let's go ahead and run full benchmark here. Benchmarks are subjective. It really depends on how you perceive them in terms of whether or not you put a lot of stock into these benchmarks. Otherwise, really, in terms of SunSpider web scores, on Chrome with the Nexus, I was able to get about, I think, 715 on SunSpider web benchmark, and on the one I was able to get about 800, give or take. So both really good, really fast in terms of their web speeds and network speeds. Of course, this is Verizon's LTE, which in most areas has better service than T-Mobile's LTE, specifically Los Angeles. But I still don't think that T-Mobile's LTE is a slouch. I think they've made progression over the past year. And pricing, of course, is different on both of these as well. But on T-Mobile's finance, you're able to get both of these for about $20 a month on finance with a certain amount down. But the Nexus, you're probably better off paying outright $349 in the Google Play Store, $390 shipped in the US for the 16GB model. The HTC One in the aftermarket, if you were to find one used, you could probably buy one for about $300 as well. All right, let's go ahead and push yes on both. All right, yeah, so that's about right. So about 7361 on the low, which is on the lower end for me with the Nexus. I was able to get about 8,000 and about 12,621 on the one. So there you go. Snapdragon 600, Snapdragon 800. Why that is, who knows? But let's go ahead and up the brightness. Let's up the brightness here to 100. Show you what it looks like at full brightness on both. It's just going to be a little bit too white, but you can see both on full brightness in terms of their viewing angles. Again, going back to just putting them side by side, putting them on top of one another here. You see the Nexus looks infinitely thicker, right? But actually it's a thinner device, so it's an interesting thing right there. Back of both devices. The finish on both is really solid. Go back. Let's put the brightness back to say, let's go on lowest brightness, see what it looks like on lowest brightness. You can see on lowest brightness on both. Put it at 50%. Let's put this at 50% as well. Or at least the closest to 50% that we can get. Here you go. Okay. So Bling Feed is a feature that, you know, it has to adhere to you, whether or not you want your feeds and news and whatnot customized right here. If you go to the settings for Bling Feed or topics and services, you can see there's various different topics and categories that you can add and customize. And of course, with the Sense 5.5 update, you do have the ability to customize and put your own feeds. And of course with the camera you have a lot of great software features such as Zoe and all that good stuff, and the boom sound speakers on the HTC One. So this makes for a really fantastic device. I think the HTC One is one of the most underrated phones ever released. It's probably one of the reasons why I named it our Technobility 2013 Phone of the Year, because it was the underdog. And here with the Nexus, I think it's also an underrated phone because of its price. You know, you got a very good price range, and in my opinion, because of the price range, you're dealing with a phone that has more to offer than what you think. All right, I am Barrage. This is Technobility. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You've just watched a truly in-depth comparison of the Nexus and the HTC One. Also, don't forget to check us out at technobility.com. We have some great content coming up soon, guys, including a web show, which you guys are going to be very excited about, so look out for that. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching Technobility. I am Barrage. Have a good week.